Welcome to the Regula Young Group Spire series. In this episode, we are talking about inspections with Jeremy Winten from JW Inspections. For someone buying a home in Manitoba, what is the standard home inspection and how long does it usually take? And what does it typically cost?
Standard home inspection, we're going through every mechanical functioning system of the house. Going to check basically crawl space to rooftop, going through the attic, checking insulation and virtually everything that's easily accessible and many things that aren't that easily accessible, like some of the attics and crawl spaces that aren't so fun to get into, but we get into them because that's what we're there for. So going through everything to make sure that we have a good overview of basically the whole condition of the house. So You're aware of everything you're getting into. So you're aware of dates of mechanicals, checking manufacturing dates on all the mechanical systems, furnace, water heaters, air conditioners, sometimes appliances if the questions come up, to make sure we've gone through the whole structure.
Awesome. I've seen you get into some pretty tight spaces. So
Exactly. Yep. They're not so fun all the times, but that's what we're there for.
Yeah.
Typical home inspection is going to run you, for myself, is $450 plus GST within city limits. Beyond the city, depending on the area, as I will drive anywhere in southern Manitoba to inspect properties for people because I don't mind the drive. And it's just based on mileage from there out. And add that to the cost, but baseline, full inspection, digital report, infrared cameras, drone for the roof if it's too high. It's $450 plus GST for me.
And how long does that usually take?
Typical home inspection, depending on many things, the size, the caliber, the discussions that go on, it ranges anywhere from about an hour and a half to 2.5, 3 hours.
Okay, awesome. When you're doing a standard home inspection, what systems are you usually looking at?
Everything. Mechanical, starting from heating, cooling systems, plumbing, electrical. If it's in the house, it gets looked at, it gets checked.
Sure. Are you checking septic systems or are those something? Yeah. Okay.
No, I check septic systems as well. Open up the tank, make sure that we have either whatever type of system it is. There's very many different systems that are still out there. Injector systems, fields, gravity fed field, pumped out field, or even just holding tanks. I will go through everything exhaustive to confirm it's either working or not working, or if it needs farther evaluation from a septic field builder per se.
Right. And another time that we had chatted, you had mentioned that you are now also taking well samples. Sometimes.
Yes, I do take well samples if asked, just to make sure that we got good potable water coming out of wells.
Awesome. Can you briefly explain what you're checking in each of those areas?
Okay, so for checking into the furnace and the heating systems, I'll open up the furnace, check to make sure that we have no major signs of condensation or burnout on the elements that are visible. Getting a peek into the heat exchange to as far as we can, depending on the style of furnace. Sometimes there's not a lot to look at, but checking the age and the functionality of the main heating system. Checking the blower fan, make sure that it's not filled up with dirt and debris and it's not noisy. There's all sorts of different fans and electrical in there. And running the system up and down as the seasons apply, because if it's middle of winter, obviously we're not running up an air conditioner because that would be an unsafe test. But through the furnace, we're going to look at the ductwork, make sure that we can see if there's any breaks in the duct or disconnected ducts, go through the house. And that's where the infrared camera comes into play as well, checking to make sure we have heat at all the applicable spots and checking the fan, pulling filters out, all of the basic things there. When we get into plumbing systems, we're going to run water into all the fixtures, all the basins, sinks, showers, bathtubs, everything. And all the visible plumbing, we will see if there's any leaks visibly. Again, infrared camera will see some things inside the walls that we can't see with the naked eye, just to help us be able to dig deeper. And that's
Right.
where, for me, the infrared camera is a tool that needs to be used to make sure that we can see so many different things that are not available to the naked eye.
Does that help you see cracks in the foundation?
It can, to a certain extent. It depends on the severity of the crack. Sometimes you can get a cold draft coming through some heavier, thicker cracks. There's other things for foundation cracks, more in the lines of door openings and different shifting and window directions and other things that way. Whereas the infrared camera is more for a heat or moisture loss. So if we do have a crack that has a big water leak in it,
Right.
yes, we would see it there with the infrared camera. But then if we had a crack of that form that actually has water coming, that leads to other discussions throughout the inspection too.
Right. But you're not likely going to miss a covered crack that has water infiltration when you're using the infrared.
Exactly. Yeah, with the infrared, you should be able to see the penetration point for the moisture coming through the crack.
Right. Are those really helpful for checking out cantilevers?
Yes, of course. They're because you can check basically all the overhangs, all the cantilevered areas to make sure there's insulation in there and make sure that we don't have any cracks or damage.
Perfect. What are the most common misunderstandings buyers have about what a home inspection includes?
The most common misconception, and I'll lead to HGTV's desire to show us that home inspectors go in and rip things apart. We can't break things. We can't rip walls open. It is a visually exhaustive inspection that is more in tune with the complete functionality of the property than it is about ripping a wall down to find a small foundation crack.
Right.
Typically, something that's a bigger problem. There's other things you can see that I've been trained and understand to go in the right direction to lead clients in a safe zone to know what's going on with the house.
Right. Yeah. What optional inspections or add-ons do you often recommend, especially for older homes and rural properties?
There's not really other things I recommend adding because personally I do go through every functioning and active system of the house. For me personally, there's no add-ons.
Okay.
My add-ons are my inspection. The only other add-on that would be added for me personally would be a wet inspection, which is the inspection of a wood-burning appliance.
Awesome.
Wood stoves, wood-burning furnace, which I am a certified wet inspector as well.
Yeah.
And we'll make sure that they're functioning and safe anyways. Without an extra charge, the extra fee comes in when it comes to the reporting for insurance purposes.
Sure. If you were inspecting a house where it had really old fixtures, 1907 built type house, would you be able to check the light fixtures to see if it was knob and tube in the ceiling?
Yes, of course. I've taken light fixtures off. I take wall sockets off. I will open up what is safe and accessible to confirm preferably the absence of knob and tube, obviously, but if it's there, at least we'll find it and make sure that we're aware that it's there.
I know. So many times we were told that the electrical's been updated, and then we, discover at home inspection time that the ceiling wiring was not replaced. That's still knob and tube. That's why I wanted to ask that question.
The attic is always the hidden point that a lot of people miss. And because they're not the most enjoyable to get up into, you get a good shower of insulation once in a while.
Yeah,
It's
and
all
usually my only clue is that they still have the original light fixtures.
Especially on the outside of the house when you see that single ceramic light bulb socket above the door. That's indicator number one, especially when it still works.
Right. Why is it important for buyers? Sorry, I think I missed one. We already did that. I moved my cursor for some reason and now I lost my spot. Are there certain red flags that would make you strongly recommend an inspection?
personally, I recommend an inspection on any purchase just for the bare fact of it's a huge expense. Like you're buying $200,000 to $1 million property. Like it just makes sense to have an inspector come through, a professional such as myself, to give you a full overview of the condition of everything. When it comes to, you can compare it to buying a car. You can't go buy $1,000 Honda Civic and go drive it tomorrow without a safety. How can you spend $500,000 on a property and not have essentially a safety done on it, have it inspected? So you're fully knowledged on the home. And the biggest, and this goes back to your other question of the biggest misconception, is I'm treating my home inspection as an education to the buyer on the home. I'm not there to tell you to buy or not buy the home. I'm there to give you an exposure and a lesson on the home and the functioning systems and the condition of it, so that you're prepared in the future to deal with what could be coming up to repair and maintain that house. Not to give you a false hope that, oh, everything's beautiful and wonderful and unicorns and rainbows are everywhere. But no, you got.
I love an inspection for the maintenance side of it, especially. Like, I feel like especially first-time home buyers, they learn so much at the inspection on how to take care of their house, right?
Exactly. So, and there's a lot of people that don't know. Even like I've had clients that I've inspected for clients that are 70, 80 years old, and they love coming through, and I love talking with them and teaching them about the house, because they've never done it, or they've owned a home for 40 years and now they're retired and move and downsizing and buying something that's brand new that functions different than a house from 1940. Very
different systems than what they're used to. Yeah, exactly. I know when you have like a farmer coming in off a farm where they had like a combo wood electric, and now they have like a gas furnace in a condo. It's very different systems. And I mean, yes, the systems in a condo are probably a little easier. Well, a lot easier. There's probably way less maintenance. They are different. You probably will have like an HRV.
Oh, exactly. And learning how to deal with and how to function all those things. Heck, even some installers don't put them in right. So
I agree, and I see those not used properly so many times in so many houses.
Well, even like today, it's minus 45 out, and everybody's windows are frosting up, and everybody's freaking out. Well, if you look at the science behind it, to get rid of that frost on our windows today, our interior humidity level needs to be below 15%.
I know, it's so dry.
It's just not physically possible to run a house below 35% on the baseline.
Right.
So you're going to have frost on your windows when we're freezing like today.
Yeah, I recommend, like, when my clients are complaining about that, I'm like, open the blinds a little bit so that there's some like airflow. Like, it doesn't reduce it completely, but it does help. Whereas if you have your blinds, I get wanting to close the blinds because it helps keep the heat in the house. And there's a little less air loss, but you need that airflow in order to keep
the airflow to get rid of the humidity to keep the windows dry.
Yeah, exactly. So I know some of it seems counterproductive, but anyway, for buyers who are going to be looking at being in a multiple offer situation, sometimes it can be difficult. We know going in that we're going to have a hard time putting that inspection on the offer. What do you recommend to them?
When you're getting into a possible multiple offer or an offers date situation, I offer a pre-offer inspection. So what that is I still go through the entire property, bring all my tools, bring all my knowledge, and we'll go through it to make sure that once you've written that offer, you have the confidence behind you to know what's going on with the house, and you're prepared to go in confidently with your offer. Or we might find something that you're just not prepared to battle for, and you move on.
Right.
And I do it as a lesser cost, and just because you don't need the report at that point. But if you do want a report during the inspection, we have a discussion about once you get the house, if you do want to have the final inspection with the report, I'll come back and we discuss everything at that point again too. So.
Okay.
But I offer that just as an option to make sure that you're still protecting yourself. You're not going to blindly offer on a house and get into a bidding war and pay more money than it's worth if there's some major issues.
Right. And that is exactly why I asked that question, because some of the questions I ask are because I want you to tell them the answer. It's not just me saying what I think, right?
Exactly.
But I know what you're going to tell me. So, so what is the biggest takeaway you want buyers to remember about home inspections?
Biggest takeaway is I just want them to know that it's an education on the house. It's a learning experience. And it's in my opinion, the forever support that I offer after the fact. Once you're into the house, you're 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the road. I personally don't plan on going anywhere. I plan on staying with this business for as long as I physically can do it. And I've got many years left to do that.
Right.
And I just want them to take away the knowledge of what they're getting into and what you're purchasing, and hope that was helpful in their decisions.
That's awesome. Thank you. This is exactly why I talk buyers through inspections early, so that they understand what's normal and what's fixable and what truly matters. And thanks for watching the Regula Young Group Buyer Series. And if you are finding this helpful, please subscribe, like, and share. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for having me. Bye.